Love is a beautiful thing. Love is to be able to share your life with someone and to have them share theirs with you. Love is to be intimate with another human being in ways that only you both can do. Love is patient and kind and shows you beauty in things you've never noticed before. Love inspires. Love is to take your own happiness and combine it with the happiness of another. Love is to combine your pain with that of another, carrying the weight of the world in a partnership of no compare. Love especially is opening up, giving your heart to someone and trusting that they won't break it. Is the risk worth the reward? That's up to you. Will you take the chance? Romantic relationships change us for better and for worse. They could be forever, or they could end in the blink of an eye. It's a very frightening prospect, but it's also very exciting. Regardless of what happens, they can be a core part of our life development. Think about how your relationships have changed you. Have you ever been in a romantic relationship? Ever had your heart broken or broken a heart? Are you currently a part of a relationship and you dread the thought of it ending, for better or for worse? You're never alone on that. Whatever the cause of your heartbreak is, there's a game I'd like to introduce to you. Welcome to another episode of Games for Healing. This is Florence, a story about falling in love. It's only 30 to 50 minutes in length, but it packs one hell of a punch. It's best described as an animated interactive webcomic, full of mini-games reminiscent of the WarioWare series. It was developed by the Australian studio Mountains and published by Annapurna Interactive. Their vision was to create something non-violent and linear that would explore human emotion and teach an important moral. The game would be released on mobile devices to be accessible to as many people as possible. It would later come to PC and Nintendo Switch. The story follows a 25-year-old woman named Florence. We gain some insight into her life and her routine. Her days are full of work that she has no passion for, spending time alone both indoors and outside, getting calls from her mother who insists on finding her a boyfriend, and looking back on simpler childhood days. One day, while out and about, her phone battery runs out, and suddenly she hears beautiful music. She follows it and sees a man playing a cello. This is Krish, who she'll later get to properly meet. They go on their first date, share their dreams with one another, inspire one another, go on adventures together. Love blooms between them, and we get to see how their sweet relationship plays out. Something I particularly like about this game is how there's no dialogue between these two people, yet you can perfectly understand how they communicate and feel at all times. This is done through the music and the things that you do in the mini-games. Florence herself is represented by the piano, and Krish is appropriately represented by the cello. These two instruments converse in place of speech. They mix and mingle splendidly. Gameplay-wise, things are well demonstrated as well. Something I really thought was neat was putting puzzle pieces together to show having a conversation. The more comfortable Florence feels and the more she gets to know Krish, the puzzle pieces get fewer and bigger. We see and hear how they click and become more familiar with one another, while also feeling that through the gameplay as the minigame becomes effortless. It's such a simple thing, but it's so effective. Something that you'll definitely notice while playing is the prevalence of the color yellow. Its presence grows during times of happiness in Florence's life. The developers of Florence have used gameplay, music, and color in a way that I think we can really appreciate. Since the game is so short, I'll leave you with just those examples of how it cleverly shows us two people living and discovering each other. Next, I'm going to talk about the rest of the game and how it ends. If you'd like to experience the whole short game yourself, you should come back to this video later. One year later, cracks begin to show in their relationship. Comfortable routine becomes mundane routine. Distance grows. The conversations we've seen become effortless are suddenly weaponized. The color yellow has disappeared. During arguments, the piano and the cello begin to barrage each other with a cacophony of notes. Their harmony broken. They decide to end their relationship, and Krish disappears from Florence's life forever. The breakup is very difficult for her. Despite him being gone, a cello still accompanies her. All she can do is try to move on and let that sound fade away. But don't worry, she bounces back. Everybody bounces back. Eventually, she gets back on her feet and happens to rediscover a gift that Krish had gotten her a year prior, a paint set. Just as she had convinced him to apply for music school, he had tried to feed the withered flame of her love for art. After all this time, now is the time for her to pursue what she's always wanted. Florence gets back into art, doing it on the side while she keeps up her day job. We see her go from humble beginnings to having a successful online shop, and then to her greeting visitors in a museum, viewing her art. She even becomes financially stable enough to quit her dull day job. I was honestly expecting that we'd see Krish appear in this museum, observing her art. But that doesn't happen. Things really are over for them. Florence learns to look back on their time together nostalgically, with a smile. There was no happy ending to this love, but it was a step along the way to a major breakthrough in Florence's life. The game teaches us that even if things don't work out, we'll have always grown and learned something by the end of it all. The relationships we forge are a part of us, even if they don't last. Look back on the time spent with people no longer in your life. Were there happy times? Did you try new things? Did you learn more about life? Were you inspired? When all was said and done, did you come out of it at least a little bit stronger and a little bit wiser? Each person who comes and goes is a lesson. Just one step on a long staircase that has gotten you to where you are today. Whether your relationship was happy or sad, you gain some insight from it. Probably some fortitude too. You'll be all the more prepared for when the right person comes along. Things didn't work out between Florence and Krish, but they were an important chapter in each other's lives. Florence was a driving factor in Krish going to school and becoming a seasoned musician. Krish had a large part in inspiring Florence to pursue her childhood love of art by buying her a paint set which she later finally used. Once enough time has passed, they'll both realize that they have a lot of bittersweet memories to look back on, and knowledge to use with future lovers. You can be like that too. We can all be like that. I don't know your history or what's made your heart bleed, but I know for a fact that you're tougher than you used to be, even if you don't know it. I hope that if you play Florence, that it will resonate with you. There aren't always happy endings, but we can find the good in the bad. You'll move on, step by step every day. I hope that you'll meet somebody that sets your world on fire, somebody who you can share everything with. Until next time, I'll see you later. Stay strong out there.